My name is Robbie Valentino, and this is my presentation on Henry Dreyfuss. Henry Dreyfuss was born on March 2nd, 1904, in Brooklyn, New York. He started his career on Broadway as a teenager, working his way up from backstage to set designer. While designing storefronts for retailers, he developed a philosophy that designers should work directly with the manufacturers and the users, one he would keep throughout his career. Dreyfuss had an apprenticeship under industrial designer Norman Bell Geddes for a short time, and it was the only formal design education he had. In 1929, he opened his own industrial design office, Henry Dreyfuss Associates. Despite his lack of recognition today, Dreyfuss went on to have a successful career. One of his first clients was Bell Laboratories, where he produced several successful telephone models. In the mid-1930s, he began working with the New York Central Railroad to design their luxury streamlined trains, including their flagship 20th Century Limited. The trains were incredibly popular, helping Dreyfuss establish a name for himself in the New York design scene. He would go on to work with clients like John Deere, Honeywell, Hoover, American Airlines, and many more. Bell Laboratories worked with Dreyfuss several times over his career to design telephones for consumer use. The Model 302 became a household name thanks to its simple, modern design, and the Princess phone was designed to fit the hand of a young woman, featuring a more curvilinear design and smaller proportions. The New York Central Railroad contacted Dreyfuss to design their Mercury train sets for the Midwest. The Mercury was branded as a high-speed service and was designed to appear as fast as possible. It received lots of attention for its revolutionary streamlined design, boasting Dreyfuss's reputation. Thanks to the locomotive's bold shrouding, many people didn't recognize it as such until steam began to billow out, and compared to other locomotives of the day, you can imagine why. The streamlined shape of the passenger cars matched the tender of the locomotive, both of which are covered in smooth aluminum panels. A sleek gray stripe with chrome lining spanned the length of the train, connecting the windows on the passenger cars. After the success of the Mercury, the New York Central went back to Dreyfuss to redesign their flagship New York to Chicago service, the 20th Century Limited. The train was led by the iconic J1E Hudson locomotive, with its bullet nose, smooth plow, solid driving wheels, and chrome detailing, all screaming speed. The coaches were similar to that of the Mercury, but with a different paint scheme and slightly revised observation car. The interior screamed elegance with its marriage of modern, streamlined, and Art Deco styles, with amenities like bedrooms, restaurants, parlors, barber shops, and lounges. One small detail that Dreyfuss added was a red carpet that rolled out at the platforms where the train boarded. This association of the red carpet with luxury eventually found its way to Hollywood, where the tradition lives on to this day. Dreyfuss worked with John Deere in the 1930s to stylize some of their tractors. The streamlined appearance may have been a little out of place on a tractor that never went above walking speed, but their design was loved by farmers nonetheless. The simple forms, clean lines, and rounded edges of models A, B, and H became defining features on later tractors. Hoover had an interesting relationship with Dreyfuss, refusing to work with him after the Model 150, but returning years later for the design of the Model 82 vacuum. The Model 82 was a bestseller for its stylish atomic design. The spherical vacuum's defining feature was its ability to hover over the ground by shooting its exhaust out of the bottom, making it appear as if it was a floating atom. One of his later projects was designing the interiors of the American Export Line's ocean liners, the Independence and the Constitution. Mid-century design was very prominent at the time, and Dreyfuss fully embraced it. Classical modern forms were met with bright colors, complex patterns, and new materials. The design was notably bright and colorful from a man whose career was defined by simple forms and neutral colors. Unfortunately, both ships met unfortunate ends. Independence beaching in India before being scrapped in place, and Constitution sinking deep in the Pacific, still yet to be found. Towards the end of his career, Dreyfuss stepped back from his company, moving to Pasadena, California, where he consulted for clients privately and worked with UCLA to develop their ergonomics program. He also published a few books, most notably The Measure of Man in 1967. In 1969, he retired outright and sold his firm. His retirement did not last long, though. After learning that his wife, Doris, was terminally ill, they committed suicide together on October 5, 1972, in their Pasadena home.